Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about the collective unconsciousness that is prevalent nowadays. And I'm talking about this connection to technology, to instant gratification, and being disconnected from our true selves. I see all the time people who come to me for coaching and who leave comments below on the YouTube channel. They are yearning for this individuality that they don't currently have. They are so disconnected from their true selves because by the end of the day, when it's just them and their own minds, a lot of anxieties come up, fears, concerns, worries, and they don't know how to handle it. Because one of the things about society that is so dangerous is not learning how to deal with trauma emotions and how to face our fears appropriately, what anxiety is. These really palpable emotions that leave people stunned and confused. And so today's video, I really want to talk about the dangers of society and this collective unconsciousness that is coming into more of a mainstream phenomenon, and how, well, when these spiritual people come onto a podcast or they come onto YouTube, people are so connected to it. I see it all the time that something within them burns and is attracted to this new way of enlightenment, this awakening that is coming about through these books, through these mentors that are making themselves known. And I feel like that's because living in comfort, living unconsciously is really damaging people to the point where they awaken to the fact that, hey, this isn't working for me. And I'm pretty sure that's why you guys are here on this channel, is because, hey, this is not working for me. I just want to be better. I just want to strive for more. There has to be more than this. And I noticed within myself, when I was on the phone, when I was watching Netflix, playing video games, watching pornography, smoking weed, I was seeking experience because I'm an experience seeker. I love to be lost in something. I love to escape reality and just to experience a story. To be lost in a movie. I would smoke weed and I would watch a movie and I would just be like blown away. But then here's the thing. I would smoke weed again to try and get back to that original experience of like, oh my God, this movie is amazing. But I found that the more and more times I would smoke weed, the harder it was for me to get back to that great experience, because my tolerance to weed was getting higher and higher, and it was more and more difficult for me to get back there. And so what I found was that now when I introduced meditation, breathing exercises in the morning, lighting incense, lighting a candle, leaving that experience, I would find myself more relaxed, self-centered, recharged, and it would propel me into the day where throughout the day, the experience of the day overall would be way more palpable and enjoyable and longer lasting than the experience of watching pornography. That experience was short, right? It was great. It was so stimulating, but at the end of it, I was guilty. I was feeling drained, not motivated, low energy. And so I replaced those other experiences that were short-lived with the experiences of connecting more with my inner world, connecting more with this space separate from the collective, right? Have you ever watched Star Trek? Because in Star Trek, there's this, I guess, species called the Borg. The Borg live on this cube of technology, this going through space and assimilating other species to join in their collective. Now, the Borg, their collective is cookie cutter replicas of another, right? They're not individuals, but they're part of this unity of this hive mind where they are all interlinked and thinking one thing, right? And that's so interesting because I feel like much of society now is it's more of a collective. It's more of a hive mind where certain pathways, certain ideas are strengthened, and most people, because that pathway is strengthened, they mostly go down that strong pathway. It's like I used to be the one, if it was on the news, it must be true. If it was on social media saying something, it must be true. Or if I heard it from somebody around me, I believe them, right? It's like what's strengthened gets entertained. It's like internally, what you pay attention to the most determines what you value. And I was valuing the normal, but behind the veil, that's where you should look. Because my mentors nowadays, they challenge the normal. They go, hey, maybe saturated fat isn't bad for you. That was the normal, not so much nowadays, because we found out through research and through doctors that saturated fat is very, very important for your mental and physical health. It's absolutely crucial for you. But I see a lot of, still I find people saying, oh, stay away from, butter, stay away from meat and bacon. And it's like, well, no, we've already established that, but the norm is the ideas that have been strengthened over time. A lot of the time people, these ideas are coming from bias, are coming from just certain beliefs, but challenge them. That's what I want for you, because that's how you build on your individuality, because we are all attracted to the stories of people who go out into the world, conquer their fears, conquer the dragons of their life, they overcome it, and they become stronger, healthier, more confident, more self-assured individuals. And we are attracted to those people because they're marching to the beat of their own drummer. And we like that because if you're part of the collective, like I used to be, you kind of crave to be somebody different. You crave to be more of this unique person. But that's how I found this new way of being, to be detached from the ego, to be detached from the superego, is to challenge. Well, originally I challenged my way of being, right? And Sigmund Freud talks about the superego, which is really, really interesting. The superego, as he describes, is the internalized ideals built internally from culture, from parents, right? So by the age of 5, you start to develop this superego. The superego is this structure of values, beliefs within you that have come from the people around you, like the normal, right? So whatever culture imposed on your parents, that gets imposed on you, and you start to build on your values, what's right and what's wrong, okay? But I found out through much reading and podcasts and just expanding on my knowledge and my wisdom, and through practice myself, that much of what is being told is to keep you unconscious and to not build on your individuality. Corporations, they want to keep you unconscious so that you can buy their product. They want to do what they can so that you can go and consume what they have to offer, right? Much of the supermarket is junk food. And how do you promote junk, right? Well, you go, okay, well, it's good for your heart health. And then you go, okay, well, how could that be good for your heart health? And then you look behind the veil and you realize that many big food corporations, they will fund scientists to do research on a certain product, and the scientists will favor the results that will favor the results that will favor the company that provided them with the funds to do the research. And so you go, well, that's how could people lie? Like, how could people do that? And people do it all the time. I recommend a book called The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teicholz. It's an amazing book. It will open your eyes to the reality behind the big food corporations and how they can do that, man. It's eye-opening, that's for sure. So look behind the veil, challenge the normal, right? And you have to make the right sacrifices in your life in order for things, in order for you to detach yourself from this collective, right? So look to the Cain and Abel story. It's a brilliant story because the story shows the consequences of entertaining the desires of your mind. Because we all have these desires that creep in, right? And we entertain them. They take up mental real estate. And the more you entertain them, the more you fall into those desires, right? And I feel like the more unconscious you become, the more you're entertaining desires. A lot of people are walking around tired, drained, and we can fall more in temptation because of our foundation not being built on a solid foundation. And so in the Cain and Abel story, Abel is making these grand sacrifices. And we see that with our mentors nowadays. They sacrifice video games, they sacrifice weed and crutches like medications, like sugar, carbohydrate-rich foods. And they look better. They speak more efficiently. They get more done. Their sleep improves. And it's like, okay, well, I can't live without sugar. It's like, life's too short. I want sugar. Or life's too short. I'm going to watch pornography. But it's like, on the other side of that, who knows how much your life can improve if you sacrifice those massive temptations that consume you on a day-to-day basis. And so Cain, he doesn't make the right sacrifices. And God doesn't favor him. And what does he do? He goes, look at Abel over there. Everything's working out for him. He's healthy, strong. He looks good. God favors him. Life's working out in his favor. And he starts to entertain this bitterness. But instead of him going, what can I do better? I got to make bigger sacrifices. Because that's the proper path forward. That's your best bet in life. The bigger the sacrifice, the more life will inevitably favor you. I sacrifice carbs today. I sacrifice sugar today. I sacrifice sleeping in for an early start so that I can get more stuff done. I sacrifice a lot of stuff. And then I notice that life improves. Life improves. I notice that because I'm making big sacrifices, I am more awake and aware to the temptations of the norm, the temptations that can take me under and control me rather than me controlling it. And that's where I'm going to leave you on this video. Thank you so much for being here today. Leave your comments below. If it resonates with you, what I'm talking about, I want to hear about your stories and what you're battling, what is currently prevalent in your day-to-day, what you're working on, what you're sacrificing. Please, I want to hear those stories. Rise above anxiety. I will see you on the next video or podcast. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.